Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching Sit Down. Ronny Chieng is here with us. Long story short, is a brand new movie. You know him from The Daily Show, Crazy Rich Asians. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey man, good to see you. I'm in quarantine in New Zealand right now. So,
Wow. How long have you been there?
I only just got here. So I gotta be here for like 14 days. And they take, in some countries other than America, they take quarantine very seriously. So you can't actually leave the room at all. So here I am. So basically, I had no choice but to do this interview with you because there's
Well,
nothing else
you're
to do,
you're so
really.
kind and considerate given all the time you
Uh,
have. How are you going to pass the time for all these days, man?
You'll be surprised at what you can do with an iPad. The amount of stuff you can do. I mean, whatever. We're gonna turn this into an ad for Apple, but like, I think there's some TV series that I have to catch up with, and Euro 2020 is on right now.
There you go. You
Uh,
got that. Yep.
got some soccer going on, so yeah, there's stuff to do, man. There's always stuff to do. 2 weeks flies by.
Well, people can also watch a new movie. Long story short. So, what was it like putting that one together?
Nice segue. Yeah. That movie we filmed it just before the pandemic in Australia. I don't know if people know this, but I used to live in Australia. I lived there for like 10 years. I went to university there. And so going back to Australia, I started doing stand-up comedy in Australia. So me going back to Australia is very much like hometown vibes. So when Josh Lawson, he's my good friend, and he called me. I mean, he's my good friend, but we're not like that close friends where he just give me a role for no reason. So he called me out of the blue one day and just said, "Are you interested in doing this script I wrote?" And he kind of pitched me the idea, and immediately I was sold on kind of like a twist on the Groundhog Day
Hmm.
idea. And also the fact that the character that he wrote wasn't written as an Asian person, it was just written as a person. So both those things, and it was filming in Australia. So all those three things combined, I was like, yeah, I'm in.
Well,
And
it
then
checked a
we
lot
ended
of
up going to
boxes for
Australia.
you. Yeah, hey,
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
bad
yeah.
deal to go back to Australia. Also, you just mentioned like it's interesting from a thematic perspective with the twist on Groundhog Day, but just the fact that it's just a character, right? It's not an Asian character, it's not an Asian movie. How cool is it to just play that role and just have some fun playing Sam?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think as Asian Americans in entertainment, we're constantly, or as Asian American storytellers, we're constantly kind of butting up against these two storytelling philosophies in America. One is, are Asian people in America here to tell Asian stories in America, or are we here to tell stories about being American? Don't, stop calling us Asian or American. And those are two contradictory positions, right? And after kind of working in America for 5 years now, I think the answer is, as to which one we're here to do. It depends. It depends on the story. Like, it's nice to be in a story where the ethnicity wasn't a focus, and we can just be three-dimensional people just like anyone else. And this is an example of that. And yeah, so it was actually, I actually think it's probably my first pretty dramatic role where I wasn't asked to be an Asian person. In fact, I don't think it's even mentioned in the film.
Wow.
So that was nice for me to kind of get to stretch my creative wings a bit.
Yeah, what were some of the surprises there? Because you've done so much comedy. What was most interesting here?
I mean, the movie is, I think it's got a comedic heart, but obviously, if you watch the movie, you kind of know that there's, it's kind of wrapped in a lot of drama of everyday life. So I think the surprising thing for me was uh, being able to cry on demand, which I've
Hmm.
never had to do before on camera. And I don't want to give it away what happens in the movie, but if you hate me and you want to see me cry, watch this movie because I cry in this movie. So that's something for everyone. There's something for the haters and the and the fans.
Was it hard to cry on demand like that?
Sadly, no, it wasn't. Although it was, honestly, that was probably my most it was the most dramatic thing I've done on camera. And I'm there with Ralph Spall, who he's a very legit actor, and great guy, best guy in the world, super down to earth, easy to talk to. But when you're on set like that, everyone just expects you to be able to do your job. Like 5 seconds before the scene starts is not the time to question whether people can do their jobs. Like that's in the hiring process, right? So when you get to the day of filming, everyone just assumes you're good enough to execute. And so the only doubts are in your own head. So I'm the one who's like, oh crap, am I gonna be bad at acting in front of Ralph Spall and Josh Lawson, who entrusted me with their vision. And so that added pressure allowed me to cry even harder. So and that helped. No, but yeah, it was an interesting creative exercise, and I think I am happy with the results.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for you. That's awesome, man. And clearly your career has been off to a great start here. What's the craziest part when you think about it, just how you built things out the last couple of years between the Daily Show, the movies, the comedy, a little bit of everything here?
I don't really. I mean, I don't really think like I've done anything yet. I don't think I have done anything significant. I'm still figuring it out. I think uh, I'm really happy to be able to express myself in so many mediums. Like my primary job is always stand up comedy. I mean, I live in New York City. It's the home of stand up comedy. Over the last 2 weeks, when I got back to New York City, I was doing stand up as much as I could around New York City. So it's nice to be able to express myself in that way. And I'm very lucky that filmmakers kind of see something in me that they want to include me in their films, and I get to kind of join that world as well. Um, I mean, if you're asking me what's surprising is, I guess everything that's happened in America is very surprising to me. That anybody even wants to hear what I have to say is pretty surprising. The fact that you're interviewing me today is very surprising. So thanks for doing it.
Of course, man. Listen,
Yeah.
you've had a great career so far. You're funny as hell, and people in America clearly like that. But what's just the craziest thing about being an American doing this thing? Because like it's one thing to be overseas and Australian doing it. Like, what stands out about the American infrastructure, about what people find funny, or even just like the whole system itself that you've kind of navigated through so far?
Well, I've spoken about this pretty publicly, I guess, but it's no secret that I think America is the MBA of storytelling. It's the highest platform. It's got super creative people with the most budgets. It's got a big market. It's probably I think culture is still America's biggest export. I think the storytelling, Hollywood, video games, all that stuff is all America's biggest export. So it's the biggest platform for it. So when you're here, everything's at the highest level. The acting, the stunts, the crew, the cast, obviously, the storytelling, the ideas that get thrown around. So I think that's what's the most exciting for me working in America versus working in other countries. I say that I've said it very publicly everywhere. So I mean, that's no secret. I mean, I'm telling this to Americans. Americans aren't surprised by that. You guys know, you guys are the biggest storytellers in the world, the best
Yeah, there's
storytellers in the world, probably.
some real American exceptionalism there for sure, no question about it.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you think about some of the people who've impacted you, Trevor Noah is somebody that came up along the way. What do you remember about when you first met him some years ago?
Um, uh, when I met him in 2013 in Canada at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal, he was already a rock star.
Mhm.
People don't understand. He was the continent of Africa was already his base, the entire continent. So and when the way he and I crossed paths was we were both doing the comedy festival circuit. So I was in Australia doing the comedy festival circuit, Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Then I would go to the UK and do the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And he was running around these circuits as well. And everywhere he went, he would be the talk of the town. So when he came to Melbourne, where I was based, he would become the talk of the town. He'll go to Edinburgh, he'll become the talk of the town. I think he's the only guy who started in like a 30-seater in Edinburgh. And then by the end of the month of the festival, he was in the biggest venue in Edinburgh.
Wow.
So I mean, this guy was already, super talented and well received before he even set foot in America. And the fact that he's been able to kind of translate that into America is just testament to the true talent that he has, the universal qualities that he has. And he was always very supportive of me. And we want like super close friends, but he saw something in me, and he gave me a chance on the Daily Show when he got the Daily Show. And he didn't have to do that. you know, he had closer friends. He probably had funnier friends he could have brought on the show, but he felt very strongly that he wanted to give Asian people a voice on the show. And I'm very lucky to be the recipient of that. But that's, you know, like that's the way he was thinking. He was thinking very selflessly to give other groups of people a voice, you know.
It's really incredible. Not everybody's like that. And also, not every show is like The Daily Show. So, what's it been like to do comedy in this moment with the pandemic and, you know, with such a focus on the conversation about race, not only in the Black community, but of course in the Asian community as well?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm lucky to be part of a show that's our main focus is to talk about American politics and society. So it's right in our wheelhouse. You know, we are, I mean, as far as anyone can be equipped to talk about these issues, I guess we are equipped. You know, it doesn't make it any easier, the experience that we have, because some of these topics are very heavy, you know, and we are at our core, we're a comedy show. We're here to tell jokes and make fun of things. So, you know, some of these issues get very heavy, especially over the last 2 years. And again, testament to Trevor for figuring it out, figuring out how to lend a lighter side to all these horrible stories. It's also a testament to the entire team at the show. That the Daily Show team is a lot of unsung heroes there, because during the pandemic we were able to continue the show remotely, which, if you know anything, even trying to get a Zoom meeting
Mm-hmm.
with your mom is impossible. Much less trying to film a professional level comedy show every day during a pandemic. And they figured it out. You know, they figured out how to do it, and that's how innovative, and that speaks to the ingenuity of the team, right? Producers, editors, writers, you know, so graphic designers, correspondents, everybody just trying to pitch in when they can. So yeah, I think it's been a real like proof of the spirit of how desperate we are to tell these jokes, that we're going to go the lengths we're willing to go through to make sure people hear these dick jokes, um, even though we're spread out across the world.
Well, it's been great to watch, man. I really appreciate you hanging out. Good luck with that quarantine, and we'll definitely check out your movie. All right.
Thanks for speaking to me, man. Take care.